Good morning, my friends. I was going through some old papers last week. Organizing things in the way you do, and you realize you should probably make life easier for whoever has to deal with this stuff someday. And I found a letter from my father, wrote to me 30 years ago, that I never responded to properly. In it, he was trying to explain some of the choices he'd made as a young father, some of the struggles he faced that I never knew about. He was reaching out, wanting to connect in a deeper way, and I, probably said, "Thanks for the letter, Dad," and went back to being busy with my own life. He died 5 years later, and we never had that conversation. I've been thinking about it with all the conversations I've avoided over the years. The important ones, the hard ones, the ones might have brought understanding, but also might have been uncomfortable. With my father, I never asked about his own childhood, the fears he had when he became a dad, what it was like to be a kid during the Depression. I knew the facts. He grew up poor, worked hard, served in World War II, did his best. But I never asked about his feelings behind all those facts. With my own children, I waited too long to talk about serious things: money, mortality, family history they should know. I kept thinking there would be plenty of time later when they were older, when it seemed more appropriate, when I felt more ready. With my wife, there were still conversations we dance around, things about our marriage, about regrets, about fears for the future. We've been together 47 years, and we still have subjects that we approach carefully, as if we might break something if we examine them too closely. The cost of these avoided conversations is real. When my father died, I realized how much I didn't know about the man who raised me, his dreams, his disappointments, his visions and events that shaped our family, the stories that died with him. With my children, waiting meant having crucial conversations during crisis instead of calm. Talk about the end-of-life wishes when someone's in the hospital is much harder than talk about them over Sunday dinner when everybody's healthy and relaxed. And the things I haven't told them, family stories they should know, lessons I learned that might help them, mistakes I made to help them avoid them. Every year, I wait. These conversations feel more important and more difficult to start. Why do we wait? Sometimes it's fear of being vulnerable or saying something that might change how people see us. Sometimes it's worry about burdening others with our thoughts and feelings. Sometimes it's just a human tendency to assume we have more time than we actually do. But I think we wait because we want conditions to be perfect. The right moment, the right setting, everybody in the right mood. We're waiting for a time when difficult conversations will be easy to feel. But they never do. 6 months ago, I decided to stop waiting for the perfect conditions. I started having conversations I should have had years ago. I called my brother and asked him about his memories of our childhood, his perspective on our parents, things I had always wondered about but never asked. I sat down with my daughter and told her about the financial mistakes I made early in my marriage, the lessons I'd learned about money that might help her. It wasn't comfortable, but it's important. I started telling my grandchildren stories about their parents that they may not hear otherwise. Not embarrassing stories, but human stories. What their father was like as a teenager, what their mother worried about when she was their age. And my wife and I have started talking about things we used to avoid. Not everything, not all at once, but more honestly than we have in years. What I've discovered is that people are usually ready for these conversations before we think they are. My daughter wasn't shocked by my financial struggle. She was grateful to understand the choices I'd made that had affected her childhood. My brother had been carrying some of the same questions about our family that I had. This week, think about the conversations you've been avoiding with family, with old friends, and with yourself. What do you wish you'd asked your parents? What do you want your children to know? What stories need to be told before they're lost? Next week, we'll talk about something much lighter. Why I started saying yes to things I used to automatically decline. Until then, make time for it, at least one conversation you've been postponing. This is not unlimited, but love is. Oh, always have a hot pot of coffee ready. You never know when you're going to have one of those conversations, and a good cup of coffee is always welcomed. Folks, enjoy.